We're now going to turn to a topic of moral reasoning. We've just talked about morality. We've tried to do some reasoning about it. We're getting an idea of what goes on in ethics, at least as philosophers talk about it. And now we need to talk about some basic ideas just to make sure that we are able to talk reasonably. And the topic then is moral reasoning, which I sometimes call thinking logically. People like to call that, some of my colleagues outside of philosophy like to call that critical thinking, but I don't like to call it critical thinking because I'm not sure that what they're calling critical thinking is what I'm talking about as thinking logically or thinking analytically. And the first thing that we're going to do, the topic that we're going to have to discuss is how do you go about answering an ethical problem or an ethical question? Another way of putting it is how do you answer any philosophical question? That is, it's really a bigger problem than just ethics, ethics being just one subdiscipline within philosophy. Then we're going to talk about relativism, the idea of things are relative to other things, truth, and the implication of those two for ethics, because I think they're very important topics related to thinking reasonably. Then we're going to see that arguments are a very important part of thinking logically, and we're going to turn to looking at arguments and trying to understand arguments and how they help us get to the goal that we're trying to get to. We're going to learn about how to evaluate arguments. It's going to be going to be two aspects of evaluating arguments. There are factual claims. You're going to have to be able to evaluate facts. And there is the logic that's involved. And we'll talk about what logic is and how that helps us in evaluating arguments. Then we're going to talk about a topic that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and I think very important, but people don't spend a lot of time on it, and that is on reconstructing arguments. That is, we find arguments all over the place, but I think there's a better way of understanding them, which is going to help your evaluation and help us get to the goal that we want to. We're going to learn about identifying premises and conclusions.